Hola, clase. Vamos a hablar sobre los verbos ser y estar. Ambos significan to be en inglés, pero en español no son intercambiables. Okay, let's start by quickly reviewing the conjugations for the verb ser in three tenses that we're going to be using the most this year. So in the present tense, the verb ser is soy, eres, es, somos, son. In the pretérito, it's fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fueron. And in the imperfecto, era, eras, era, éramos, eran. You'll need to be able to recognize the verb ser in all of these three forms as we read different sentences and stories and have different conversations. So here's the verb estar, and you can see it in the presente, the pretérito, and the imperfecto también. We've got estoy, estás, está, estamos, están in the presente. In the pretérito, we have estuve, estuviste, estuvo, estuvimos, and estuvieran. And in the imperfecto, estaba, estabas, estaba, estábamos, and estaban. So like I said, the verbs ser and estar both mean to be in English, but they are not interchangeable in Spanish. Ser is used to describe things that are more permanent and lasting. Estar is used to describe things that change frequently. If you get them mixed up, you will probably confuse the people that you're talking to, and you might even make someone mad or make someone think that you like them. So, picking the correct verb is extremely important. Let's look at the uses for ser first. The acronym DOCTOR will help you memorize the uses for ser in Spanish. You'll notice that all of these uses are describing things that are more permanent. The D stands for descriptions. So whenever we want to talk about what someone or something looks like, we're going to use the verb ser. When we're describing what people and things look like, usually the things that we're describing are more permanent about them. So someone who's tall or has black eyes or brown hair, those are attributes about them that are more permanent. The O stands for occupation. So whenever we want to talk about someone's profession, like if they're a doctor or a teacher or a nurse, we're going to use the verb ser because people's occupations are more permanent. They don't change frequently. The C stands for characteristics. So whenever you want to talk about someone's personality, you're going to use the verb ser. People's characteristics, like if they're shy or if they're outgoing, those things usually stay the same. Whenever we want to talk about time, we're also going to use the verb ser. This includes when we're talking about dates and events. The O stands for origin. So if you're going to talk about where someone is from, like their nationality, or if you want to name the city where they're from, you're going to use the verb ser. People's origin does not change. Wherever you're from, when you're born, that's where you're from for the rest of your life. The R stands for relation. So whenever you want to talk about how people are related to each other, you're going to use the verb ser if you want to talk about your siblings or your parents or your friends. And then also if you want to talk about things that you own, things that you possess, you're also going to use the verb ser. All right, so now let's look at the verb estar. We use estar to talk about things that change frequently. Sometimes this could be on a daily basis or even on an hourly or momentary basis. We use the acronym PLACE when we're trying to memorize the uses for estar. So the P is position, and we use estar when we want to talk about the position of something. This could be whether we are standing or sitting. It could also be whether something is opened or closed. The L stands for location. This one's really easy. Whenever you're talking about where people or things are located, you're going to use the verb estar because our locations change frequently. Now, buildings, they don't change locations necessarily, but you would still say mi casa está en Lafayette. Action is for the A. Whenever you want to talk about ongoing actions that happened in the present or that happened in the past, you're going to use the verb estar. This is called the progressive tense. You would remember it as está comiendo. I am eating, like right now. If you want to talk about the condition of something, then you're going to use the verb estar as well. So to talk about someone's physical health, like the condition that their health is in, you want to talk about their state of mind, what condition their mind is in, or even if you want to talk about the condition of food or objects, you're going to use the verb estar because the condition of something can change. And then the last letter E stands for emotion. Again, this one's easy because our emotions are always changing. So whenever we want to talk about how people feel, we're going to have to use the verb estar. Okay, I want to work through the different uses for ser and show you a couple examples for each usage. Some of them will take a little more explanation than others. Here's a few examples using the verb ser to describe what things look like. These are all pretty straightforward. Mi primo es alto y atlético. My cousin is tall and athletic. Su casa era muy pequeña y vieja. Your house is very small and old. Madrid es la capital de España. Madrid is the capital of Spain. Here are two examples using the verb ser to talk about what people do for a living. Tu padre es bombero y tu madre es maestra. Your father is a firefighter and your mother is a teacher. Yo soy un estudiante en la escuela Paloma Blanca. I am a student at White Dove School. Okay, here I have several examples showing how to use the verb ser when you want to talk about time. Hoy es lunes 16 de julio. Today is Monday, the 16th of July. Son las 7:30. It is 7:30. La clase es a las 9 de la mañana. The class is at 9 in the morning. La fiesta es en mi casa. The party is in my house. That last one, I want to point out that you need to use the verb es. A lot of people try to use the verb está because they feel like you're talking about the location of where something is. But whenever you're talking about time or when you're talking about the date or events, like where an event is taking place or when an event is taking place, you'll always use the verb ser. So in this case, we conjugate the verb ser to es. La fiesta es en mi casa. Talking about people's origin is really easy using the verb ser. We a lot of times will ask the question de donde eres, which is where are you from? The other example, Maria es de Brazil. So Maria is from Brazil. And then the last one, Claudia y Ana son colombianos, pero él es cubano. So Claudia and Anna are Colombian, but he is Cuban. Using the verb ser to talk about relationships and possession is also really easy. So we've got ellos son mis hermanos. They are my brothers. El libro es de Carlos. The book is of Carlos, or we would say the book is Carlos's or Carlos's book. Now we're going to be looking at the verb estar, and we're going to be looking at the different uses and some examples of each. So when we want to use estar to talk about position, most commonly we're going to be talking about maybe, something's opened or closed, or if someone's standing or sitting. Those are at least just a couple of examples that we'll use a lot. So la puerta de la cocina está abierta. The kitchen door is open. Las tiendas están cerradas. The stores are closed. Nosotros estamos sentados. We are sitting. Or Marco está parado por allá con su familia. So Marco is standing over there with his family. Like I said before, it's really easy to use the verb estar with location. Mis hermanos están en México. My brothers are in Mexico. El carro de mi primo está en la calle. My cousin's car is in the street. Whenever we're talking about where people or things are located, we always use the verb estar. Here are a couple of examples using the verb estar in the progressive tense. So we have the present progressive tense talking about actions that are happening like right now as we're speaking. We also have the past progressive tense. So we're talking about actions that were ongoing or were happening as those things in the past were happening. So yo estoy estudiando para mi prueba de español. I am studying for my Spanish quiz. Or tú estabas comiendo helado. You were eating ice cream. All right, so this category is pretty big. When we talk about using the verb estar with condition, we're kind of talking about four different things. We're talking about the condition of someone's health, the condition of their mind. We could also be talking about the condition of food or the condition of objects. So the first one, yo estoy enfermo, I am sick. We're talking about my health. Mi amiga está loca, my friend is crazy. We're talking about her mental state. El mango está maduro. The mango is ripe. So now we're talking about the condition of a food. It's either ripe or it's not ripe. We say verde. So el mango está verde would be the mango is not ripe in Spanish. It's green. It's a green mango, so it's not ripe. If it's red or yellow or orange, it would be maduro. El espejo de mi baño está roto. My mirror is broken. So now we're talking about the condition of an object being broken. And the last one for estar is a really easy one whenever we want to talk about people's emotions or feelings. So los niños están muy alegres. The children are very happy. Or Lizzie está incómodo en la oscuridad. This is more a feeling. So Lizzie is uncomfortable in the darkness. It's really important for me to point out that sometimes you can decide whether to use the verb ser or estar. When you do this, you will need to be very careful because the meaning will change depending on what verb you use. If you say ella es nerviosa, you're implying that she is a nervous person. That's part of her personality. If you say ella está nerviosa, you're saying that she's just nervous right now in the moment. If you say ella es feliz, you're saying that she is a happy person in general. You say ella está feliz, you're saying that right now she's happy, but that could change. If you say el café es caliente, you're saying that coffee is hot. You're just making a general statement about what coffee is in general. But if you say el café está frío, you're kind of saying like right now, this coffee or my coffee is cold, which is a bad thing, right? Here's a few more examples of meaning changers. If you say él es bueno, you're saying he is a good person, like in general. If you say él está bueno, you're saying he is good looking. So be careful what you say. La fruta es buena, you're saying that fruit is good in general. You're just making a statement. If you say esta manzana está buena, you're saying this apple tastes good. So specifically, this one tastes good. If you say ella es aburrida, you're saying she is a boring person. That could come across as offensive, right? But if you just say ella está aburrida, you're saying that she is bored in the moment because of whatever's going on. If you say ella es guapa, you're saying she is pretty, like just in general all the time. And ella está guapa hoy, you're saying that today she specifically looks good because of maybe something she did differently. Here's just a few more meaning changers and then we're all finished. So ella es viva is saying that something like she is sharp. Ella está viva, you're saying that she is alive. So big difference there, right? And then ella está muerta is she is dead. Él es malo, you're actually saying that he's a bad person. Él está malo, you're just saying that he's ill. Él es rico, he is rich. La comida está rica, the food is tasty or the food tastes rich.